And I want to welcome all of you to our last seminar for this year um, for Elder Move Alliance. And we will be starting them up again in January. But today's topic is the most beneficial home improvements for aging in place. I think we have some really good speakers today about that. I had said that Diane would be here, the designer. She's not going to be able to attend, unfortunately. But I still think we have some great things to talk about making your home work for you at this point in your lives and for the future, to be safe for you, to think about what you need to be able to stay in place. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start, and then Ben will has some really good things to talk about as far as making your home safe for you. And then Desiree is going to talk about paying for these changes, unless, of course, you have that money sitting in the bank, which would be lovely. So I'm going to, I, of course, am Mindy Garner, one of the founders of Elder Move Alliance. And all of our speakers can be found on your newsletters that you have all received, I believe. They also can be found at our website, which is eldermove.com. All of our speakers and their contact information are available there. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And so all of you should be seeing the most beneficial improvements for aging in place. Are you all seeing that?
Yeah. Timer for longer. Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Or what should you do to your home? And this is for people who are planning on staying for a while or forever, if possible. So the first question you need to ask yourself before you decide how much to spend on changes to your home and making it ready for you is, how long are you planning on staying there? If it's going to be forever, you might want to put more money into it. If it's going to be for just a couple of years, then you might want to make some changes, but maybe not such large changes because you're not going to be there long enough to enjoy them. I have always thought that people should make changes to their home as early as possible, because then you're going to enjoy them for a while. So even if you're planning on making changes that will make your house more saleable, it'd be a good idea to do them so that you can enjoy them for a while first. Our first home, we changed everything in our home except for the kitchen. We were there for 10 years. About 9.5 years in, we thought it's time to do the kitchen. It was a horrible little kitchen, awful. And so we remodeled the whole thing. As we were about halfway done, we were doing it ourselves. So we were about halfway done. My husband's job got transferred out of state, and we had to hurry up and finish the kitchen for someone else. And it was the saddest thing because it was so beautiful when we finished. So I recommend doing anything you can do as early as possible that you can do it. What are your physical needs? You need to think about what you're going to need, what changes you're going to have to make in order to make your house something you can stay in for the long term. If you're having any trouble getting around, you need to think about that inside your home. Are there any stairs you need to get up? Are there any things you need to step over, like into the shower? Some people only have tub showers, and those are difficult to get in and out of and slippery. So you need to think about that. Do you care about resale value? If you do, you need to make sure that you don't do something weird to your house. By weird, I don't mean something bad. I just mean something really different. I had a client who had a lovely home in a very popular area in Seattle, actually, in the Ravenna area. And she couldn't do the stairs anymore. So she had her main floor bathroom remodeled to suit her needs. And she had it remodeled into a lovely shower, all tile, just gorgeous. And then she also made room in her bathroom for a stack washer and dryer because that had been in the basement. It was gorgeous. She did a fabulous job. It was absolutely beautiful. It meant that there was not a tub in the house. And so when we put the house on the market, we had a really hard time selling it. People with children need to have tubs. And we had several people who really liked the house, really liked the location, would not buy it because it didn't have a tub. And that would be a significant expense to put it back. So that's something to think about. If you're going to be there until you die and you're absolutely positive of that, first of all, I don't know how you can be positive of that because we can't see into the future. But if you are and you don't care what the resale value is, then go ahead and make whatever changes you want. Somebody else will have to think about them. Is there anything you need to live in your house now that is not available on the main floor? In my house, I could do everything I would need to do except the laundry. So I would have to find a place in my house to put a laundry room on the main floor if I want to stay here and cannot do the stairs anymore. I could also put a kitchen in the basement and then I could rent out the basement. So it could be an income producing area. But for me to live without stairs, I would have to put a laundry room upstairs. And that's something that you need to give some thought to. If you need somebody to come in to help you, is there a place for that helper to stay? If you only have one bedroom on the main floor, or you only have one bedroom that's available, you need to find a place where a helper is going to be able to stay and be in earshot so that they can help you if necessary. Does your home provide you with the stimulation you need to keep you active, both mentally and physically? We've talked about this in the past. There are things that are happening at senior housing buildings that are not happening in single family homes. There are activities going on. Once COVID ends, they'll be having buses to theater nights. They'll be having talks on things that you might want to learn about. They'll be having art exhibits. They'll be having all kinds of activities that can help keep you mentally younger and physically younger. They'll have exercise classes right in the buildings. So that's something to think about. Would it be better for you to be somewhere else, or are you in better condition where you are? And will that continue? I thought I would discuss for a little bit things that you can do in your home that can make it much easier to live in. And these are actually pictures of my own kitchen. That's why there's stuff on the shelves. So the picture on the left is the lower part of the pantry area in my kitchen. We don't have a walk-in pantry here. The house just didn't have one and we didn't make room for one. But we do have a pantry that holds a lot of things. And all of the shelves pull out all of the way. So everything that's in this pantry, I can easily reach. The picture on the right are the shelves at the top of my pantry. So you can see, here's the lower section. Here's where you pull out these upper shelves. And they also pull out all the way so that I can easily reach anything on the top shelves. It really makes life easy. I recommend highly that if you want to make changes, you think about not just putting in a new kitchen, but putting in one that works really well. And this kitchen does. We put this kitchen in 2003, and it still makes me happy every time I walk in and need to cook something. I think that's a good change. Here are a couple more things that we did. In our kitchen, everywhere that we could put drawers instead of cabinets on the bottom, we put drawers instead of cabinets. As you can see, this drawer pulls out all the way, so I can easily get everything out, even if it's all the way in the back. And the only cabinets we have, there's 2 Lazy Susans in this kitchen, one here and one in the opposite corner. And then the under the sink, we actually put in 2 sinks so that there were workspaces for 2 people. One of them is a regular size kitchen sink and one is smaller. But under both the sinks, there are cabinets, but that's it. All the rest of the bottom cabinets in our kitchen are drawers, not cabinet doors. And it makes it so much easier. For a while, people were putting doors in front of drawers. You would open the doors and then pull out the drawers. That makes no sense. That's two things to do to get to what you need instead of one thing to do. And this, I think, not only works really well, it also looks beautiful. And then this is my spice cabinet. And this is something I did aftermarket. It's 9 inches across. That's the room there was in that space to put a spice cabinet. And that's not wide enough to put in any kind of organizer for spices until I looked online and found this really cool system. And it's just like my pantry cabinet where you pull the spice racks out and then you can see all of them. When I have time, my spices are actually alphabetized. I'm quite proud of that.
Wow.
So, and this just makes them all easier to reach. Now, if we had our designer here, she would be showing you pull-out cabinets that hold about a spice or two, or a can or two, or salt and pepper, that are narrow cabinets that go next to your stove. And those are also a really good idea. We didn't have room for those in our kitchen, but these have worked out really well. These are pictures I got online to show you some options for showers. One of the issues that people have a lot, and I'm sure Ben will talk about this as well, is bathing. And this shower is a roll, both of these showers actually are roll-in showers where you can get in and out of the shower in a wheelchair or some sort of wheeled seat if you want. You don't have to stand up. And my shower, which I don't have a picture of, we did before these were so easily available. It used to be that you had to cut into all of your joists to make your shower floor low enough to drain well and put in one of these floors. But that's no longer the case. There are now much easier ways to put in these floors that are flush with the floor of the bathroom. So if you're going to make any changes to your house, this is a really good idea. And I will point out that all of these changes are good for everyone. It's easier for everyone, not just people who need this, but easier for everyone to get in and out of the shower without stepping across something or stepping into a tub. The shower that we put in our house has a pebble floor. I think it's not only beautiful, it's also very non-slip. And so I recommend that as well. This is a large shower, which would make it much easier for someone who needs help while they're showering to be able to get that help. You could actually fit an extra person in here. And with the handheld showers, which I think every shower should have, and you can actually make it so that second person doesn't get wet at the same time. So that's the end of what I brought to share. Are there any? Yes, John.
What is the name of that spice rack system? Is there a name for that one? I think that's a great idea.
You know, while Ben is speaking, I will look it up. I found it online and I did it a couple of years ago and I bet I can find it. So I'll see if I can find it and give that to you in a few minutes. It is a really cool thing. I love it. I was so excited when I found it and I installed it myself and it works really well. So I recommend it. Any other questions about things that you might need to do to your house to make it comfortable for you now or in the future from what I've gone over? Ben's going to cover more of that. Whoops. No? Okay, then we're just going to move on to Ben. He owns Right at Home, an in-home care company, and he knows a lot about making things work for people who are sticking around. Here is Ben.
Thanks, Mindy. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yes, and we can see your
You
screen.
can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. So my name is Ben Solomon, and I own Right at Home in-home care and assistance. Been doing this for 17 years. So we're an in-home care provider, and I'm not an architect or a builder. I'm an administrator of a home care, home health agency. And what we do is we help people stay independent in their home. We go out, we do assessments in folks' homes, kind of understand where there's safety related issues, make recommendations. And then we also, primarily what we're doing is we're providing care support. And that's one of the options that is to consider if you want to stay in home, is whether you have a informal caregiver support network, or if you're looking for more of a formal support network with in-home care providers. That's something that we do. So as it relates to staying in your home, I like this statistic. I was talking a little bit with John earlier. John seems to have been involved with the King County Fall Prevention Coalition and different fall groups. So kind of understands that falling what happens when you fall is the number one reason often why folks end up leaving home, is concerns about falling, having fallen. Those are the number one reasons of balance issues, and we'll talk a little bit about that. 90% of seniors want age in place. This is statistics from the AARP. Only 9% of folks that have been surveyed express a preference for moving to a care facility. So probably not surprising, most people in age in place. The reasons why they don't is they don't feel their home is safe for them. And as we said, unsafe aging conditions, balance and falls. Things around that revolve around physical weakness, medication management. So being able to manage your medications properly is an issue why a lot of people end up leaving their home. And also around cognitive and visual impairment, also make it difficult for people sometimes to stay in age in place and have to move to an assisted living or a community care setting. Okay, so this talking a little bit about what you can do safely. So this is kind of an assessment looking at can you get up and down? So as it relates to your own home, can you get up and down the stairs? You live in a home where it's easy for you to get up and down the stairs. As Mindy was talking to, can you get in and out of the bathtubs or showers safely? Having a shower such as the one Mindy was sharing, I thought is great. Can't tell you the number of times I've been into my clients' homes and that lip, that half a foot or foot into the shower or bathtub is it's a huge hindrance. It might as well be climbing up a mountain for a lot of folks, getting their hips, getting their legs over a shower. So, what type of adaptive aids? And we've talked a little bit about that. Getting up from a sitting down position on a bed, up off of a toilet or in and out of chairs, that could be an issue. Having good core strength, right? Having a good inner core, good thighs, good leg strength to be able to get yourself from a sitting down position to a standing up position. Can you do that safely? Do you have the adaptive aids? Do you have a walker or some type of support system to be able to get you up from a sitting down to a standing up? Or even having chairs with, be able to lift yourself up off of. That's really important. Sometimes I go into folks' homes and they're in a deep couch and difficult to get yourself out of the couch. Reaching up, bending down, retrieve items. I think Mindy touched on that. Another reason why a lot of folks end up considering having to leave or needing help revolve around driving, right? How do you get yourself to the store, to the doctor's appointments? Can you drive, or do you have the support to do that? Maintaining and keeping up your home and managing your health. So these are things to consider about, can you do them safely? Okay. So here's some things to do. Consider, even if you are healthy, right? Things that are important to help keep your house safe, regardless at any age. Added lighting, right? That's really important, especially in corridors or in hallways or in the basement, around stairs where there may not be great lighting. As we age, our vision deteriorates. So have good lighting, especially if we're in from a bedroom to a bathroom. A lot of falls do happen at night on your way into the bathroom. So make sure you have lighting available. Remove slick flooring, right? So marble floors is real rough. If you have some type of a non, if you're gonna wear slippers, have slippers with a kind of a padding under it for grip. That's really important. Declutter high foot traffic areas, right? Sometimes I go in a lot, and often I go into people's homes, and as we talked about, bending down and getting things off the ground and getting them up on the counters. People have paths, kind of like navigate through the home to a path. So get things off the ground. A lot of times people are falling, and decluttering high foot traffic areas is really important. Need-based home modifications. There's a lot of things Mindy was talking about and Diane would talk about if she was here. Add bathroom grab bars, right? Don't use how many people use the towel rack? Have you seen folks using the towel rack as a aid to help kind of get in and out of the bathtubs, or get up and off the toilet? Oh, I see a lot of folks that rely on that towel rack. That's not what towel racks are for. So having either a grab bars on either, on your chair, have a really good counter, have something where you can hold on to. They're not expensive. You can, there's contractors that can come into your home, handyman, they can come in and put in good hand grips, adaptive aids that you can use, especially in the bathroom or in the bedroom.
Also, I think a grab bar at the garage door is really good. We have a single step down from the house to the garage. And my parents used to live here, and we put in a grab bar for them, especially for my mom to get up and down that one step. And I use it all the time. So it's a great place to put one. That's
really true, especially, and we even talk about getting in out of, I've been in a number of people's homes, and those couple steps from the driveway, even if you live with just one step up from the driveway up onto your porch and into your home, that could be a challenge. So making sure you have some type of aid, some type of a grip, something you can hold on to is really important. Highly recommend everyone get a personal emergency support system, like a PERS, one of those necklaces. You've seen them all on TV. In case you fall, push a button, and some of them have long radio, what they do is they're radio waves. You push a button, and it can actually, they've got accelerators, and they can determine the rate of your fall. If it's a natural, like sitting down versus falling, can send a signal to a home base, like a lifeline, if people are familiar with lifeline, and it will then call the lifeline folks, and they can get a hold of you. I've had clients, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I've worked with a number of folks who come to me after being in a hospital or nursing home that have spent 2 or 3 days on the ground. Can't get up, can't get to the floor, can't reach up to the phone. Phone's right there, can't get to any support because they fell and they have no way of contacting anyone, right? So just as a way of security, they're not expensive. Again, for $20 to $30 a month, highly recommend. If nothing else, get a PERS, a personal emergency response system. You can have a necklace. They come as watches. They look pretty innocuous. I think that's an important safety tool for folks that are going to stay in their home. Okay. Raise electrical outlets. Convert doorknobs to handles. Sometimes people, their grip, their ability to turn a knob, it's more difficult. Pushing down on a handle versus a doorknob is something that can be really helpful, especially if folks have maybe had a stroke or have some physioneurological condition. Maybe they've got ALS or Parkinson's or something that makes it difficult for them. So that's something to consider. All right, night lights, we talked about that. Open up a curtain. A lot of folks, they seem to live in the dark. I'm not sure why that is, but you often go into people's homes, the lights aren't on, the curtains are drawn. make it light, right? The more light that you have in your home, the easier it is to see in your home, the less likely you're going to fall in your home, right?
And you will be less depressed.
And there you go. So open up a curtain, let the light in, right? It's simple things like that can make a real big difference. Brighter bulbs, you know? So lighting is an awful big issue with a lot of people that we work with. I know a lot of people, they want throw rugs. A lot of people throw rugs or runners in their home. They are real serious trip hazards, especially if you've got a walker or, especially if you've got a walker, or if you're walking and you don't have great balance. Please get rid of any throw rugs, non-skid. If you've got something in your house, make sure you put some of that anti-skid backing on it. You can get that at the hardware store. Or if you got carpet that kind of frays at the edges, tape it down, okay? Tape it down. Get rid of the rugs in the bathroom, right? Those are really great, safety tips. Okay.
If your feet are cold, you can put in heated floors much more cheaply these days. So
You
that's
can do
something
that,
to
or
think
you can
about.
wear shoes and slippers with a non-slip sole on them too.
Right.
That's another way
Much
to do
cheaper
it.
and easier.
Considering I said canes, walkers, I know a lot of folks are like, I'm not going to use a walker. I don't need that. I can walk fine. And I'm watching them. I call them wall walkers. They got their hands on the sides of the walls, keeping their balance as they walk down the hallway. Don't be a wall walker, right? If you see your friends, when you're out with your friends, tell them, don't be a wall walker. It's okay to use a walker, right, to maintain your balance. Getting in and out of the showers, we talked about don't using the towel bars. Consider getting a shower chair, right? A shower chair. And also, I also have folks get shower benches, especially if you're going to have someone help you with your shower. That's a big reason why people hire agencies such as Right at Home to come in the home, is to help them with their bathing. Either it's standby assistance outside or help people get in and out of the shower. Having a shower bench where they can get on the bench or they can scoot over from outside, lift up their legs, chair has a back on it, like they slide into the shower. A shower head with a hose on it, right? And then someone can help you with your shower if you've got balance related issues. That's really that'd be great. That's highly what we highly recommend. All right, so make change happen. Stay active, right? That's the best way of making sure that you have the strength to get around in your home, to do those activities we talked about, from sitting down to standing up. Stay active, move your body, visit your doctor, right? Everyone should be going out there visiting their physician. If they got a geriatric gerontologist, there aren't that many here in the Puget Sound, but as a PCP, that's a good, working with people who have a lot of experience working with the elderly and understand really well all the different psychosocial and physical issues that seniors have. It's really great to be able to work with a gerontologist. Other people, if you've had a changing condition, here's something I tell people all of the time. So I'm assuming everyone here is Medicare, is part of their insurance. If you have had a change in condition, whatever that may be, you can get a prescription from your PCP, from your doctor, for Medicare, for home health to come to your home and provide you, as part of your Medicare benefit, physical therapy or occupational therapy. So especially if it's a challenge for you to get to a physical therapist, that is a great way of bringing therapy into your home. And that's covered under Medicare. It's free to you. You've already paid for it. It's part of your insurance. And a Medicare home health agency, names of agencies like Evergreen Home Health, Evergreen Hospital is a home health provider. Klein Gallen Home Health and Hospice, that's another one. It's part of the Medicare benefit. They come out and they can help you with exercises and therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, to help address any particular issues that you may have with range of motion, with the kind of things like Mindy was talking about, recommendations as it relates to adaptive aids in the home or home modification resources. That is something that can be provided under your Medicare benefit. So something that you may want to consider. And then we talked about skilled construction design professionals, as Mindy was talking about, is great. We talked about home monitoring technology. There's a lot more coming out. The PERS is a great way, telemedicine, other wearable devices that are out in the marketplace. And finally, the last thing is getting help at home, right? Especially if there's a primary caregiver, they're needing some respite, some support. That's the type of work that we do. And I wanted to kind of go over, so just so you have a sense, because this kind of segues into Desiree's talk, is the cost for care. So if you wanted someone to come to your home to provide support, whether it's bathing support or if it's respite for a primary caregiver, you're looking at around $36 to $42 an hour in the Bellevue, Seattle area for care. So if you're looking for someone coming 4 hours a day, 3 days a week, you're generally not going to get anyone to come in this marketplace for less than 4 hours per visit. You're looking at $430 to $480 a week. So that'd be 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. And you can see the cost of care as it goes up to live-in care. We're just starting a live-in case today. And the client is paying, I think, $550 a day. They just got out of the hospital. They had very weak. They had COVID, no longer tested positive for COVID. And for a month, they're looking for 24-hour live-in care. That's costing them around $4,000 a week. So that's the price that you pay for a licensed caregiver to come into your home these days. And that is what I have to share.
John.
Yes, John.
I mentioned earlier, but not everybody was on, that AARP will send you a free, or you can download it, go to AARP Home Fit Guide, and there's a wonderful guide that they've updated just this year. But you could, and there's an address you can by email, you can ask the home office in Washington, D.C. to mail a guide to you free. And in that guide, it mentions CAPS, Certified Aging in Place Specialists, and it also mentions occupational therapists and physical therapists. Do we have any certified aging in place specialists in the area? Or maybe you are one.
Well, I'm a Joint Commission accredited home health agency. We're not, I'm not exactly sure about that certification. Okay. So I have to take a look and see what that,
well,
what that is.
The CAPS are a part of America's Home Builder Association. So,
oh, I see. Maybe Diane would know that. Yeah, we're not, yeah, I'm not in the building
now,
business.
And the other request is there some way that I could receive this last cost calculations
sure.
email so that I could use that myself?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm happy to, yeah, could download the whole presentation and give it to Mindy, and she can get that to you.
Sure.
This is really good because a lot of people.
We would be able to send this slideshow to anyone who wants it. I'll just need to make a note of your email.
And it's really important to understand home care. A lot of people get confused, and I know it's not part of this talk, but understanding that paying for care is not something covered under your Medicare benefit. So that's something that people have to pay for. Either they have something called long-term care insurance, or they're taking, they have cash, or they're able to turn an asset into cash. That's how they end up paying for care. They have to pay privately. That's kind of how it works in this country. So just kind of understand, if you're needing support, you wanting to live one-on-one care in your home, you're paying anywhere between $36 and $40 an hour. If you want to bring in an agency, difference from bringing someone in privately. You pay around 30% less if you bring someone in privately, meaning you're responsible for their insurance, you're paying their workman's comp, you're paying their taxes. You take on those liabilities. You're going to save around 30% versus working with a licensed in-home care provider.
Oh, Ben,
Yes.
you have a question. You mentioned PCP. What does PCP stand for?
Your primary care provider, your
Oh.
doctor, your
Okay.
whoever you go for your checkups,
Oh, okay.
Primary care
doctor is.
physician.
Your primary care physician.
And
He will make the referral.
Yeah.
It has to be made by him or her
Yeah.
for you to get to be able to activate any of the benefits under your Medicare benefit. So they have to make a referral. They can write a prescription. It's like writing a script for home health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the mainly, Ben, you're talking about different kinds of things in the house. Something like our some friends of ours just put in a stair chair
Mm,
Right.
that goes from the basement to the third floor.
yes.
And it is so because they were getting to a point where it was tough getting up and down, and they didn't have any room where they can sleep, turn into a bedroom on the main floor.
Right.
So they all every day they had to go up and down, up and down. So uh, and it was quite reasonable, I hear $8,000 or $10,000 or something like that,
Yeah.
but very convenient.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, especially if your laundry's downstairs, or that's something to think, also think about is if you're going to be moving to somewhere or downsizing, is making sure, okay, if this is my forever place, how do I access everything I need to access on one floor?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is much more convenient with one of those chairs, and they are between 10 and 20,000, I think, depending on, I mean, if they did it for 3 floors, I think it would be way more than
Hmm.
10,000.
I don't know the cost, but I'm
Yeah,
sure it's very
I've
expensive.
checked on the cost on those before, and they're quite expensive. You have to think about also, is it going to really work for you to carry loads of laundry in your arms as you go up and down those chairs, or carry whatever up and down as you go up and down in those chairs? And if other people are going to be using the stairs, they can be kind of in the way. So you have to give some thought to that as well. But if you really want to stay where you are and you have stairs, it's probably cheaper in many instances to do that than it is to put a new laundry room upstairs. I'm
Yeah.
just not sure I'd want to do one of those chairs with a basket of laundry in my arms. So that's something to think about.
And that's when you'd want to consider, do I have care that to help support me
Right.
with that?
Right.
I understand you can buy those used. I don't know if that's true and if it's functional or not.
I'm sure you can, but they are made to fit the places they are. So you would have to refit it somehow. And it's more of an issue if you have, for instance, a landing. So the chair has to go up and then wrap around a landing and go up again.
Yeah.
Some of the installations are pretty involved, and some of them are really easy. It's one little straight flight of stairs. So you would have to take all of that into account.
Yeah, and also that got me thinking about ramps. And I know the Master Builders Association is actively involved in doing ramp building as well. So, that's another way of getting in and out of your home, especially if there's steps, of considering a ramp. And there's some pretty inexpensive ramp programs that are available that aren't made out of wood, that are metal ramps that a lot of people use as well, kind of scaffolding ramp type of situation. Those are solutions that a lot of people use.
And even if you have at least 1 or 2 steps, to enter your house, if you put a nice handrail there, that people can grab, it becomes pretty handy to have something like that.
A
Yes.
handrail is very important. Yes.
Yes.
So I just looked up what ADA ramp requirements are. If you have a couple of steps, the ramp has to be pretty long. Ramps may have a maximum slope of 1 to 12, so 1 inch to 12 inches, and or 1 foot to 12 feet. So if you have a couple of steps, the ramp has to be pretty long, but
Yeah.
it certainly can be doable and can make things much more safe.
Yeah, definitely.
They have to be a minimum of 36 inches wide, and some areas require them to be wider. They have to have edges so that you can't just roll off the edge. That would be awful.
Yeah.
And they have to have top and bottom landings as wide as the ramp itself and at least 60 inches long. So that would add a lot to the length of your
They're pretty
ramp.
long. Yeah, they'd be pretty.
Yeah,
long.
they have to be quite long. So you need to have room for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Very
a
true.
ramp is a really good way to go. I know a lot of places where there are a couple of steps down into the garage, and you need to not be stuck in your house because you can't get down a couple steps.
Mm-hmm.
So
And also, if the person is, ends up in a wheelchair, that makes things even a little more complicated because such a you have to make the door widths, such
right,
that a 32-inch minimum can get in. And not only that, you may have to make sure there is enough turning room in the bathroom.
right.
So,
Yeah,
every,
I'm sorry that Diane isn't here because her presentation included remodeling a bathroom to make it usable for a wheelchair. So we'll try to get her in maybe in January to do that presentation. Watch for that on your upcoming newsletter because it's a really great presentation. And she does beautiful work too. So the bathroom looked totally usable for anyone. It didn't look like a handicapped bathroom at all. And so we'll try to bring that to you another time. It is possible to make all this stuff that we've talked about look perfect, look not like it's intended for any handicap at all. And I think that would be a goal. You would want to make things that you can enjoy because they're lovely too. That's one of the things I like about my kitchen. It's so pretty. So,
Ben, I have a question.
yes,
You, about 2 or 3 presentations back, there was some information at the bottom and you kind of zoomed by it. And there was a question I wanted to ask, but
Sure.
it's been so long, I've forgotten exactly what it was. Can you run your presentation
Oh, I
back?
just closed it. I could do that, Lee. I could find it. Yeah. Is that the what part were you talking about? Was it like resources?
What
Were you
No, oh, maybe it was.
like different websites? Yeah, I
No,
could
I
get,
think I thought the last 2 entries were having to do with accessing someone to do physical changes. Does that make any sense?
Who would do the work?
Yeah, trouble
well,
is,
I didn't have it on my slides.
okay, we're having a hell of a time trying to find a handyman.
Hmm.
Or
I have a handyman. I'll get you that information.
You gave us some information and the handyman didn't ever call back.
Yeah, if I talk to him, he'll call you back.
If you have
He's having some issues. His 18-year-old daughter has cancer and he's having a tough time right now, but he is still working and he has crews, and so we can make sure that he reaches out to you.
Okay, and
Okay.
and if you also want another resource, I'd be happy to find. I've got some people that do handiwork as well.
Great.
okay.
For much
so-
of this, you would need a
stuff like-
licensed contractor though. For much of this, you want someone who's, and the handyman I use actually is a licensed contractor. You need to make sure that you have the right person for the job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we've.
And I'm
had
going to
some-
put my presentation in the chat section here. I don't know if you guys can download it, but I can put it there.
Why don't you just send it to me and I'll email it to everyone.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Okay.
Ben.
And
Sure.
thank you, Mindy, for emailing.
Thanks, Richard. Mindy lang. Mindy,
What?
would you please send that Spice Rack website you had
Sure.
shown?
I looked it up and put it in the chat. It's verticalspice.com.
Oh,
I will
okay.
also include that
Okay, thank you.
in the email.
Vertical. Spicerack.com.
Desiree is chomping at the bit.
Okay, and now we have one more speaker we need to get to. That was a lot of questions. That's really good. A lot of these things that we're talking about do cost considerable amounts of money. A new kitchen can run between $25,000 and $150,000, depending on what you want to do. A new bathroom can run easily $20,000 up to probably that same $150,000, depending on what you want to do. And then there's other costs that you need to of other things that you run into in order to stay at home. So Desiree is going to talk to you about accessing money and having enough money to keep you in your home comfortably for the long term. Here is Desiree.
Thank you, Mindy. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see the returning familiar faces. Obviously, y'all know what I'm going to be talking about, but let me first ask if I'm going to just kind of call in, you can kind of give me an answer. John, if you were to remodel your house for aging in place, would you can just nod maybe because you're on mute. Would you just take assets that you have invested to use it or cash on the side?
You need to unmute, John. Yes. You're muted.
I would
There you go.
probably sell some stocks, I guess, to do that. I'm not planning on doing that because we're living in a one-level unit that is pretty handy already. So
Right.
I don't think I'd remodel. But the question is, I personally, I don't think I would need to take out a loan.
Okay. Okay. So just taking assets that are in the market and paying taking them out of the market, getting them and capital gains if you needed to have something done in the house and or have care come in. Great. Perfect. That's what a lot of folks do. Kim,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I just got a sign that my connection is unstable.
Oh, no. Okay.
that's okay.
That's my problem.
So what you said, John, was that you probably would liquidate if you were to do something in the house and or if you needed in-home care, that you would probably take some investment out of a market and then use it for that kind of cost. And that's typically what a lot of people do.
I suppose, yes.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to ask Mr. and Mrs. Kemerwale, how about you folks? Would you do the same thing?
That's Mohan and Barati.
Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, we can always get the money, take the money out from our investments and other
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Joan and Sam, same sort of answer.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Actually, we're in a situation where we've just recently acquired some additional funds. So if we had something that required a few $100,000, or not 100,000, but a few $1,000s or more, we can handle it without having to dip into our investments.
Okay.
Lucky
Okay.
you.
That's great. So
Yeah.
that's typically what a lot of folks say, but regarding like if there's a major kitchen remodel, I've done several remodels of my house, and we just finished, I think in 2018, I think it was our second remodel of our kitchen. Not that we technically had to, we just wanted to kind of do some new things, and we think it's really important to keep the house updated. And we of course budgeted for it, but in looking ahead in retirement, we're going to do things totally different. And then most importantly, I guess, I don't know if y'all had sticker shock on what Ben showed you the cost of care in the house would be, but that would liquidate investment portfolios really quickly. And, you're all sitting on houses that have probably 100% or at least 70 to 80% equity, if not 100% equity in it. And again, equity is air. Let me show you something really quickly. Hold on. And, it's air, right? You can't take the light bulb to go pay your King County tax returns. You can't pay Ben in light bulbs and doors and things of that nature. Equity is air. It's like a spongy sponge. So what I'm going to talk about is how to make your air equity into real Benjamins, not rubber Benjamins, because you need to have access to that money. Whether it's for remodeling the house, whether it's for in-home care, and it is proven fact that you, by leveraging your house and not taking assets under management, liquidating stock, using our cushion small cash portfolio that on the side that we might have, or diminishing assets under management, meaning stocks, bonds, mutual funds, taking more of a 401k, your net worth is going to be higher and it's going to be more advantageous for you to do. So let me see if this is a new program for me. So I'm going to see if I can show you part of it today. So hold on a second here. So can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. I need to make this small so I don't see everybody here. So this is a new tool that we have, and it's equity tracks, and it's called your home equity conversion mortgage proposal in action. And this is an example of someone who is, it's a little bit younger than you folks. It shows the age of 66. We're assuming that their home value is $575,000. So this is just a theoretical example. Obviously, your homes are valued a lot more because of where we live, and the numbers would change a little bit differently. But what we see here is that they own their house free and clear. There's no mortgage on it. And I'm just going to skip to the presentation, show you what the dollars look like. So let me just get here and go to the line of credit. And first and foremost is what we're talking about is a reverse mortgage home equity conversion. Converting your air dollars into real Benjamins, not fake rubbery dollars, because you can't take this to pay Ben or pay for property taxes, real dollars. Increase your retirement cash flow, giving you control over the equity in your house. Cash for home improvements, vacations, unexpected expenses, and other buying opportunities or gifting opportunities. If you're going to gift the house to the children or they get it in the estate, why not gift while you're alive to see the benefit of your gifting? Minimize tax implications. That's a whole tax thing that we have to go over with your tax and CPA and advisors that way. Provide a buffer during the down market. So every one of you said that you would take cash or take money out of an investment portfolio, stocks or bonds, in order to pay for in-home care and or any home improvements. What happens if the market's down like what happened in March? Are you taking out that same, let's just call it $50,000, or are you taking out more than $50,000? You're taking out more than 50,000 because the market has come down. We've had a market correction, and then you're going to have to pay capital gains on it. So when you take money out of your stock market, your portfolio, your investments, assets under management with your advisor, you're actually probably going to take out more, especially when there's a downturn in the market. And have we all lived through downturn markets? Yes. Do we know when?
You'd probably take out the same 50,000 if you were doing a kitchen or something, but you would take it out of a smaller bucket, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. You're still paying. But again, it depends, Mindy, on where you are in the process, what the contractor is going to need, how much is it. But be that as it may, markets don't rebound back right away.
Right.
And we can't determine when those adjustments in the stock market are going to happen. I mean, my crystal ball's over here and it's broken. I can't tell you where interest rates are going to be, but I can't tell you when the stock market is going to be. So this is an alternative. So what does it look like? This is a reverse mortgage HECM with a growth line of credit. This person is 66. They own their house free and clear. So what you see here is they have liquidity savings here, which is the difference between this amount here, the 21,000, and the line of credit. They have an initial line of credit of almost $270,000. This amount borrowed, I know it sounds like a lot, and it's an example, but it's a realistic example. This is the fraction of equity that is used to establish this reverse mortgage loan. Don't get indigestion about it. It's just what it costs, but it's a lot cheaper than selling your house. So watch what happens to these buckets as I increase in age. This person's 62. Or 66. So in 10 years, assuming they don't need this money, that line of credit increased to over $417,000. Their home appreciated at 4% assumption to $818,000. That's the equity. I'm sorry, the house value is $851,000, and they only went negative on the equity or the loan to $32,000, $33,000. Insignificant amount compared to how much they now have available. So at 76, when there's a life event or something needs to be done, having this non-taxable source of money available to them is quite significant. Would you agree, or you think that's a small amount of money? We've got more than enough, we don't need it. And remember, if you sold your house at this point in time and you did not, let me just bring up this pen. Hold on a minute, I have a pen here. And you do not use this line of credit, you don't owe it. You sell your house at $851,000, you pay this off, and that's the difference that you get. So this is a put on your house, and it gives you a bit of security and options for those unexpected things that happen in life. COVID, fall, need a new car, gosh, we have to pay for the roof. So 10 years, I mean, granted, this is showing as someone who's 76 years old because I started off at 66, but you get the concept. Concept is the same. So I don't know how to erase this quite yet. So I'm just going to back up.
You got it.
Yeah, well, I just want to back up. So again, let's just say that this person is, another 10 years. They still haven't used the money because they've been healthy and all this, that, haven't lost a spouse, no medical issues have come up. And in 20 years, that's increased to over $500,000, and they own a fraction on the loan. Insignificant compared to a $1.2 million house. So this can cover long-term care, in-home care, remodel, anything you would like to do, use it for. You want to, again, gift to your children. I mean, I take out of this, I wouldn't liquidate stock to give to my kids. I would liquidate, more money from my 401k to distribute to the kids. I would take it out of this bucket. Yep, I would. Because if they're getting the house, like everyone says, the kids get the house. Do they want the house, or what do they want? They want the real Benjamins. And this is what it can show you that you have, that you can give them while you're alive to enjoy their benefit. A little off topic about aging in place, but my point is that you have options with this money available in a line of credit, and you control it. So I think it's a phenomenal tool. The older you are, the larger the initial line of credit would be. We do have some other nuances with this, but this is, if you had a mortgage on your house, we would pay that off, and then you would have a little bit higher balance. If you would like, you can still make payments to those loans. And then if you make a payment to this, even $21,000, you can make payments to it, but do not pay it 100% off. That shuts everything down. And you're not expending hardly any interest expense on a $21,000 loan, especially where rates are today. So that's how you can pay for it. You can also pay for by doing a cash out refinance. You would always have a payment on that. You can get a regular bank line of credit, but that's a fixed amount. It's not, that line of credit is not going to increase over time. And when you take money from that, you have a required payment to the bank. You have typically a draw period of 10 years. Lines of credit rates with the banks are higher than the rate on this mortgage that you have, right? Now, the benefit of a line of credit with the bank is the costs are less. But just because you can get a line of credit with a bank doesn't always necessarily mean that you should. And if I can have one more minute, Mindy, what I'd like to do is give an example. I received a referral from a banker, and the client was needing to get access to more equity in their home. And I just had this devilish feeling that the situation was not going to be good. Home was over $1 million. They have equity in the house. The first mortgage was the amount that it was. And then on the credit report up came a line of credit with this bank. The bank gave them a line of credit of $100,000 in 2018. They were currently late on that mortgage. So my whole plan blew up, which is what I expected it to do based upon extrapolation of information from the client in the call. So having said that, I actually had the conversation with the banker and I said, you know, it's really unfortunate that the bank gave them a line of credit because they could, versus doing what was in the best interest of the client and finding out more of the situation in 2018, because that was a time when they should have done the reverse mortgage, if not before then. These people the wife is in her 90s and the husband is in his 70s. So there's a bit of an age difference there. And to move is going to be very difficult because of their circumstances, but they don't have any options because they assumed that everything would be okay and that they would always have money, and you can blow through money fairly quickly if there's an event in home care. I mean, Ben's figures were you can blow through $250,000 in a year, depending upon anything that comes up. So how strong are the portfolios? What are you needing? And if you want to age in place and not have to be reactive to a financial situation, having a plan and putting it in place, I think when I work with partners with my advisors, that's exactly how we think and feel for our clients, to support what they want to do. Age in place, have a backup, even for 5 or 10 years, that's fine. But what is the backup plan? Because you don't have to use the money in the line of credit. But it gives you options to improve the property, like these cool things that Mindy showed today, widening, doors, or improving your bathroom for aging in place, or like redoing the kitchen, or even just paying for that handyman to come through and do what you need to have done. So those are the options. And questions, thoughts about that presentation? Other questions?
Any questions about accessing your equity in whatever way you want to? Because Desiree can do most of them.
I've stunned them all into silence.
You have.
I know that this is not the most pleasant conversation because, generations have, we're all in different generations on this call. We're all in different buckets and different lifelines, but I've been in residential lending for 30 years and I have seen a lot of profiles, and I don't know your profiles and I'm not making judgments. I just think that you can never have enough money in retirement, or money or fund options in retirement. More is better than less, and having more options and control is better than none. And liquidating and having access to your house, which is a totally illiquid asset, is something obviously I firmly believe in. So if there are no more questions for me, Mindy, why don't you take it from there?
Okay. Any other questions about the general topic of making your home work for you for the long run? We've covered a lot of things here.
Yeah.
Are you all living in one level homes that you think will work really well for you no matter what? Or are there issues that you're thinking about?
We moved into one level intentionally because our previous home would not have worked well. So
Good job.
we are in a home that works well.
Okay. If you want
And
to
we
do
had
that.
grab bars and built in, so.
Good. If that's something that you want to do, if you want to stay in your own home for a while, there are a couple of places around here where you can do that. There's one out in Redmond. And now I'm blanking on it, in Redmond Ridge. There's Trilogy, and that's primarily one-level homes that are built for seniors. I think many of them still have a step down into the garage, but for the most part, they would have what you would need to live for a long time. And that's regular real estate ownership. There are condos available at Providence Point, and there are condos available all over that have elevator access from the parking into the unit, so, or to the floor of the unit. So that's entirely doable really anywhere in the area if you want to be in a condo. And then it's just taking care of the things that we've talked about here, the grab bars and the rugs that can cause problems, and making sure that you're in a place where the kitchen and bathrooms have accessible areas for you. So, so it is entirely doable if that's not where you are right now. Then there's also moving into places where there are activities and there are meals prepared, and you don't have to do quite as much in order to take care of yourself in your home. And that's a completely different conversation, which we've had on different days. So there's lots of options. I must say that I thought through my kitchen really carefully, and I enjoy it. And I think that if you wanted to do something like that so that your home would work for you longer, that can help it last a lot longer. But it takes a lot of thought and planning.
Sure, and then get a reverse mortgage so you can pay for it.
You can get a reverse mortgage so you can pay for it. That's right. So I think they're getting the drift of our conversation here. If there are no more questions, then I'm going to end the seminar. I'm going to ask you to all hold on for a minute to make sure that I have your emails, and then I'll send you my slideshow and Ben's slideshow. And then if Desiree has something you want to include, I'll send that out as well. No more questions? I'm going to stop recording.
No.